content. Well, at least that's the short answer. But short story long, I've had even more than 5 accounts. You see, it all started back on September 28th, 2020 when I first downloaded Genshin Impact. Now, I was going to uni at the time, so I only played for about a month before I just ran out of free time between, hanging out with friends and going to various events on campus. And by hanging out with friends, I mean listening to YouTube videos or Khan Academy explanations about the topics I was supposed to be learning. And I suppose some people may refer to those events around campus as lectures, but no need to get so technical about it. This was my first ever Genshin Impact account. And as we can see here, my team comp is amazing. We got Geolumine here, we got Noelle, and Jean, because Geo and Animo work so well together. My first ever 5-star on a standard banner in all of Genshin Impact was Jean, and that was followed by the Wolf's Gravestone, which I put on Noelle, because that makes sense. And then about a year later, around the 1-year anniversary for Genshin, I decided to come back to the game, and Raiden Shogun's banner was out, so I tried to pull for her. And I got to see one Jean. And from the standard banner, I also got the Skyward Blade. I did log in once for a random video I made last year and pulled a Yelan. In terms of map and story progression, finished Mondstadt, we finished the Liyue story quest, and then I just started the Inazuma one, and that's when Raiden came out, and I swapped accounts and all that fun stuff. But you see, there was actually another account that came before the Raiden one. Now, this account I made one time when I was trying to log back into my first account, but forgot the password, and then they locked me out for 30 minutes, so I decided I would just make a new account and see if I got lucky on it. We started this one on January 14th of 2021, and I wasn't playing consistently at this time. I was just trying to log back into that first account to, I don't know, see what was going on. We did not get a 5-star on here, but some of you may know this as the account I talked about a couple times when I was thinking about doing a bows only account. We had Amber and Fischl, and Fischl has her signature weapon. I also considered turning this into the spells only account because we had 3 catalysts right off the bat, but then I felt that would have kind of defeated the challenge. Also, we had over 4,000 primos, so again, I felt that it kind of destroyed the challenge. I really never did much of anything with this. It just kind of exists now. And that brings us to the Raiden Shogun account. And this is when I re-rolled the account over and over to get Raiden Shogun on the first 2 pulls. That was because A, I lost the 50-50 on the original account to Jean when I decided to come back to the game. And also, I knew that I made so many mistakes on that original account, I figured, you know what, let me just start over. I wanted to play Genshin Impact again. I just had this urge to come back to the game, but I didn't want to feel like I was wasting time. I was trying to build a different YouTube channel at the time for a different game, but it wasn't going that well, and I figure if I'm going to be playing an entirely different game and not actually working on that channel, I might as well make a new channel. So that is exactly what I did. I believe it was one of my first videos, if not the first video, where I was re-rolling the accounts to try to get Raiden Shogun, and she has not left my team since. Now, as I was making content on this channel for this account, I kind of tried to think of different things I could do. I wanted to come up with some unique idea to hopefully help grow the channel. And now it shouldn't come as any surprise to you, but trying to make a lot of consistent content with only one account is not really feasible in this game. You're limited by resin, and once you complete the story, there's really nothing else to do for videos. So that's when I came up with the idea of a swords only account. Now, I'll be honest, when I came up with the idea for this account, I didn't think it was going to perform that well. I just have a history of playing different games and using self-imposed challenges, kind of like Pokemon with Nuzlocke or Terraria only using one type of weapon when you play through the whole game. So I just thought I would take that challenge and apply it to Genshin Impact because I didn't see anyone else doing that. And I was quite wrong about how it would perform, because that series alone is what really started to grow the channel. And if you want to see all of the progress on this account, it's available on YouTube and there's a whole playlist for all of it. Though if you're watching this, I assume you already know about swords and spells only. I mean, if not, you must be new here, so hi, welcome, feel free to subscribe. Now, this account was going well for a while, and then something weird started to happen. Something I did not expect. I started seeing other channels copying the idea of weapon-only series. Now, I don't blame them. That's kind of how YouTube works. If you see something working and you want to grow your channel, you're probably gonna copy it. But then more and more of them started popping up out of nowhere. So I accidentally started a bit of a trend. And my original idea was to eventually go through and do a series for each weapon type. But suddenly all of those series were already being made by other people. So in a bit of a panic, I wanted to make sure I was the first one to get to at least one of the other weapon types. So that is when we started the spells only account. Except there was also another account before this account. Now I know some of you remember this account because I still get comments from time to time asking when I'll be returning to it. This was the new main. I didn't realize we got it all the way up to AR 50. And also, of course, it has the best name card, the Binge Vessel. The name card, however, specifically made for me, definitely. But this is the account where pretty much nobody is built, and we were struggling to kill just about anything in the world, except for one character, DPS Barbara. We ran her with the Widsith, and I was leveling up her normal attack. Our highest crit in the game was 135,000, and that came from Barbara. Now, the reason I made this account is because my original account was made on a temporary email, because, you know, I was re-rolling to get Raiden Shogun, and then I lost access to that email, so I was just afraid that I might lose the account one day and didn't want to hyper invest in it if that was going to be the case. And after many months of trying to go through customer support with Hoyoverse, I finally got them to help me with moving that account to a new email after I spent money in the game. Because until I spent money on that account, they just kept telling me that they couldn't do anything. And then the next account we ended up making was spells only. The plan wasn't to make another weapon only account so soon after swords only started, but like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to get to it before someone else got to it first. So at this point, I was playing on the main account, swords only, and now spells only. And again, I'm sure most of you already know what this account is, but essentially it's the account where we only use Catalyst characters. But one good thing that this account did is gave me another series that I can make for YouTube, because again, you don't have that much to do on a limited number of accounts. So now I had the main account for random videos, I had this account, and swords only. The downside of this, of course, is I have to farm across 3 different accounts every day. Otherwise, I won't be able to make those videos because I won't be able to make any progress. Then what started happening is I found out there wasn't much content to make in the later stages of the game. Even across 3 different accounts, if I wanted to keep putting out consistent videos, I figured, you know, maybe I need to start another challenge, but of course I didn't want something that was super grindy for me off camera. So that's when I went ahead and made the Nuzlocke account. As I said earlier, I like playing Nuzlockes in games like Pokemon. For those of you who don't know, a Nuzlocke is when you play through a game, usually Pokemon, and if a Pokemon dies, you can't use it anymore. So this reminds me, I actually did make another Nuzlocke account much earlier on for one video, but I don't really consider that one of my accounts because I played on it for one video and then never played on it again. Plus, I felt that it was too easy because every character that we got from Wishing we would use unless they died, which nobody died. So this time around, I decided I would only use the 8 starting characters, and just so that I didn't have to spend a ton of time grinding dailies and primogems and doing all of the events, we are only using 3-star weapons on everybody. So it's starting characters only 3-star weapons or lower, and we are not allowed to use any food in battle. The main goal of this account is to beat floor number 8 in the Spiral Abyss, and the funny thing is, some people leave comments saying that's way too hard, I should at least allow 4-star weapons or craftable weapons or constellation. Oh yeah, that's another thing, we're not using constellations. Outside of the Traveler, we're not using any of these, even though we do have them. And yet I've also received comments saying that's way too easy and I should try to go to floor 12 of the Abyss. So everyone has their own opinion, but I also don't want this to be a super grindy account, which is what it would have to be if I was trying to get to floor 12. Now within the Spiral Abyss, we made it up to floor number 6, and we didn't get max stars, so we still have to finish that 7 and 8, and then this challenge will be complete. Problem is, I still have to do a lot of grinding on this account. We're constantly out of level up materials, I have to do a ton of farming for all the bosses to ascend everyone, and then the weapons also leave a lot to be desired. Now I won't tell you if anyone has died so far in this playthrough, and if you haven't seen it, well, now you gotta go watch it for yourself. I will be honest, I have not been farming on here as much as I should be, because I would say this series only has 1 or 2 episodes left in it max, and all that stands between me and making those videos is grinding. So I'm sure some of you are thinking, well, that's all of your accounts, there's no more, the Nuzlocke one was the last one you made, right? Well, not quite. I kind of made one other account. And no, I have made no content on here yet. And I don't know if I will. This is my Asia server account. Now, the past week I haven't played all that much on it, but I started it on January 15th, so we are approaching a month and we are AR 42. Of course, we could have been a higher AR if the past week or two I had been playing more, but I gotta be honest, I kind of got addicted to Fire Emblem. Whenever I would do live streams, there would always be people who wanted to know if I'd ever make an Asia account because they wanted to play with me. And now there's really no reason to play on this account over my main account, so I don't know how much I will be doing on here, but at the very least, I now have an Asia account. Except by now you guys probably know me, and you know I wouldn't just make an account where there's no goal or no challenge or anything. Even outside of content, I like to do things a little different on each account. What I decided to do was every single chest, every Sealy, everything in the game, I was gonna get it. And get it, I did. All of Mondstadt was done before I even finished the Archon quest. Dragonspine is 100% complete, and just recently I did max the tree out, so I got the name card. And of course, that also means I have the Dragonspine glider. Then it was over to Liyue, where I finished all of the map before the Archon quest, finished the Archon quest, and now all of this is done. I would have marched on to either the Chasm or Inazuma, but like I mentioned, Fire Emblem came out, I got it, and yeah, kind of been glued to that game a little more than I should be. Plus, I've also just been going through some of these story quests before I move out to a new region. But the way I've been working this account is I'll go into a new area, I'll open up one statue of the 7, then I pull up the interactive map, and I mark it for every chest, Sealy, balloon, puzzle, just everything. Anything that is interactable, I mark it for that. And then I do not unlock another statue of the 7 until I finish the previous area. Why do that on this account and not on my main? Well, the biggest reason is that on my main, I don't know what chests I have or have not gotten already. On this account, I know for a fact that I have not gotten anything when I enter a new place. Now, with the increasing world level, this account is starting to feel a little weaker with everything that it fights, but we're getting close to AR 45, which is when we can start farming in artifact domains. And I do have a nice 49 fragile resin. The bad thing is Mondstadt and Liyue are the easiest regions to 100% in my opinion. Inazuma has some long quest lines you have to do and multi-day quest lines like the Foggy Island. And then Sumeru has so many underground areas and the Aranara quest line. Not really things I'm looking forward to. Also, I doubt any of you guys care, but I already have the catch on Xianling, and I'm currently in the process of maxing its refinement. I'm essentially just playing as efficiently as possible. I did also just get Jean on this account yesterday or the day before from a lost 50-50. Kinda hurts, but at least I have a Jean somewhere. So with all of that being said, would I recommend anyone having this many accounts? Absolutely not. If you want to have a main account and then a side account maybe as a challenge or just to use characters that you're not going to get on your main, that's fine. But trying to do dailies and spend resin every single day across this many accounts is not feasible in the slightest. Also, just ignore the fact that I glitched my way over to Inazuma before I even unlocked it. When I was trying to get one Yao Yao on Alhaitham's banner, I kind of ended up getting a C6, well, technically C7 Yunjin instead. I had to pull 130 times before I saw one Yao Yao, which is also why I have an Alhaitham that I didn't even want. Having this many accounts though is just insane, and I do not recommend anyone attempt it, but for some reason, I decided to put myself through this, and it's pretty much all for the sake of content. So that's the story of why I have so many different accounts on Genshin Impact, and the story of how I tricked you all into watching me farm my dailies on every account. With that being said, I'll see all of you guys next time.